Alright, so I'm using this coil spring compressor here that I got off eBay. I think it was like $16 shipped. It's a pretty decent tool. I've used it this is the third car I've used it, and I'm thinking after this I'll probably throw it away, simply because the threads are starting to get a little chewed up on there, because it's under a lot of tension. Right now it's not. But this thing, it takes a little bit of finessing to get this spring compressed in there. These are 1-inch lowering coils for 61 through 64 Impala. I got the driver's side in already, but I want to do a quick little video so I can remember next time. Really, the main thing is that on these hooks, you want to get them as far out on the ends if you can. You don't want to go all the way to the last coil, because then you're not going to be able to get the tool out. So this one could probably go a little bit further to about right here, but I think we might get away with it. This one's probably about as maxed out as you want, because once it most of the compression is going to be in between here. In fact, all of it actually. But you want to be able to get the tool out. A trick I just learned on the driver's side is once you compress this thing in, you put it in. So I bought these tubular A-arms. First, you want to make sure that the ball joints are tight. Don't take the manufacturer's word for it that they're tight, because mine were hand tight. So tighten all the ball joints, upper and lower. This bolt here, these 3 here, and I put the lower ball joint castle nut on there hand tight, a little more than hand tight, and then set the whole assembly on a jack. Then you compress the spring, which I got it over there, and then you're going to set it in here and jack up the lower ball joint spindle assembly to hopefully your upper ball joint will go through the spindle hole. If it doesn't, you have to compress the spring more. You probably have to compress these springs, I say, at least 4 inches. And then whenever you go to take them out, you just reverse the process. Use a 3/4 inch. I use an air impact. You can do it by hand. You'll be here quite a while. I use my DeWalt, and it kind of it'll do it, but it struggles. The air impact gets it pretty quick. Within 10 seconds you're compressing the spring, and then you set it in there, and then you basically reverse it. So whenever you're getting ready to take it off, you want to make sure that your 3/4 inch nut is accessible. It's not way cocked over here to the side or here to this side. You want it kind of to be in the middle, and you're going to access it through the lower shock hole, and then you just zip it right out, and hopefully, well, first you got to tighten your upper ball joint. Put your jack it up, tighten your ball joint. I would probably tighten it with the socket. I think it's a 3/4 inch, and then you back out your spring compressor, and then you have to unwind these hooks. And the easy way that I just learned was, this is a half-inch nut. You can get in there with nut driver, just like that. You can unscrew the nut, tool comes apart, falls right out through the shock hole. Instead of sitting there trying to struggle and unwind it, you just take it apart and let it fall right out the bottom. So I'm going to put y'all on pause and bring y'all back once I get this passenger side done. It took me about I don't know, maybe 45 minutes to figure out how to use this tool again. I use it like every year. The biggest thing is you want your hooks far spread out as possible. If you put a hook here and a hook here, it's not going to compress enough, and your rod is going to be sticking up way too far. It's going to hit the top of your frame. Then you're not getting anywhere. So you want to basically have the tool expanded the length of the coil. And I got the driver's side on, so I'm going to pop this one in, and I'll bring y'all back and show you the finished project. All right, brought y'all back. That took about a minute. I zipped it another inch or so, and now you can see with the jacked up, You can see the rod is almost hitting the A-arm tower, but I think I can tighten the ball joint. You got to take the bump stop out so that your A-arm can go further down, and then you probably have to wait until you put your motor on or get some weight on the front end, or if you already have, if your car's already put together. Once you set it down on the ground, your upper is gonna lift up, and you should be able to access your bump stop. But I can't because I have no motor. So just want to show y'all a little video. Unfortunately, I don't have a tripod to record this stuff. This can be pretty dangerous. If you don't follow the steps, you could hurt yourself. Make sure your ball joints are tight. Use a floor jack underneath. That's your safety. If the tool decides to break right now, what's going to happen is the frame is going to shoot up. If you didn't have your floor jack under there and you have it on the jack stand, if the tool breaks, the A-arm is going to slap the ground. If you're laying under there, if you got your arm under there, you can break your arm. Ask me how I know. And it's going to be pretty painful. But so this is how you use one of these cheap coil spring compressors. Like I said, it's 15 bucks. You can rent them at AutoZone, Advance, Napa, O'Reilly. Rent them for free. But for me, for 15 bucks, it's worth it. I don't have to make a trip back and return it, and I just keep it. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this passenger side, and then do a walkthrough of the front end I assembled here today. Bring y'all back.